Hey YouTube, and welcome back to Delja Said What. Today I wanted to talk about um, scams. Scams that can affect your livelihood, scams that can be avoided. Again, I work for a bank, and there's a few things that they would like to share so that you are aware what to avoid. And then after I give you those 3 tips, I'm going to share a little story with you. So be ready for how my dad got scammed. Well, hey YouTube, and welcome back to Delja Said What. I am very happy to be able to share some things with you today. My topic is in regards to scams, how to identify with scammers, and warning signs. It's always great to be alert um, when dealing with people and with businesses, especially in regards to your personal information and the information you provide over the phone, information that you might get in your email and your text messages. I get them all the time, random text messages saying that I've won um, money from the lotto. I need to claim my prize now, or um, AT&T just gave you a prize. You need to click this link now in order to get your prize. You definitely want to avoid doing that. So, number one thing that I would like to mention to you is in regards to your personal information, never give it out over the phone. Anytime a public agency is going to ask you for that information, it's either going to be in person or through the mail. Um, and even with that, you need to be careful sometime with the things that you get in the mail. If anything ever looks suspicious, or if you get really weird phone calls, you definitely have a right to investigate and also call and check before providing any personal information. Um, Unusual payment request, um, people calling you about certain bills, saying that, example, your PG&E bill is due. If you don't pay this $1,000 right away, we're going to cut you off. um, a lot of that happens, and you just really want to be aware that scammers will use unusual payment methods to try to get you to make weird payments, and especially with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the kind of currency that's used now that once you send it, there's no tracing it or pulling it back. So once you send it, it's gone, and there's no way for no one to retrieve it or try to get your funds back. So be very careful with that. Um, let's see. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, so there's other ways that you can definitely get scammed, but I think the most popular way of being scammed is when you get those weird phone calls, or when you get those suspicious emails, phishing emails, and also text messages. Beware of the information that you provide people over the phone. Request for money from someone you've never spoke to before, asking for money, or unusual response, or text messages from family or friends. It's funny how these days that people can actually clone telephone numbers for businesses and personal, and will trap you into thinking that you're really calling an agency when actually you're calling someone else's cell phone. So let's get into how my daddy got scammed. Oh my God. Okay, so let me just say another thing is that when anyone ever calls you and tells you not to tell anyone, that's a red flag. Don't ever not tell anyone when something is happening to you that's in a duress or a stressful situation. Um, my dad's situation is he got a phone call saying that someone had, you know, what is the word? Someone had stolen his identity, and they were calling from the Social Security office. and that they had police enforcements um, looking into my dad's accounts, that everything was about to be frozen, that there were cartel involved, and truly just freaked him out to the point where they told him, we'll walk you through what you need to do. Don't call, don't text no one because you don't know who's involved. Had him thinking that maybe there was a family member involved. The scammer was so clever that they started naming people that he might have known or talked to recently, to the point where he really did not call or tell anyone that someone was letting him know that he was, being robbed, that someone had stolen his identity. So they had him go to his bank, withdraw money from his bank. Um, I don't want to disclose the amount because it was a lot of money. It was over $5,000. Had him thinking that he was being watched. Had him on the phone the whole time. Now, the good thing about banks is that they will ask you questions, and when there's something strange going on. And one of the tellers did ask him, is everything okay? You've never done this before. You've never, taken this amount of money out. And he was like, no, I'm fine, while he was still on the phone with the person in his ear telling them, don't tell them, because they can be in on it too. So what he did was he took the money, and they had him put all of the money, telling them that they had an account set up for him so that he can come to, I believe it was Social Security office the very next day. Because what they were trying to do was get him to hide his money so that it wouldn't be seized. Because again, someone had stolen his identity and given him the impression that someone was after him and taking his money, and they were doing all these illegal activities. And so, if you don't want your money seized, then we need you to move your funds. So what he did was they had him think that he had an account set up through Bitcoin and put all his money in the Bitcoin machine, and he lost his money. But what was weird was that they were trying to get him to go and get more money. But before he went and got more money, something clicked in his head, and he went to the police department. And while he was still on the phone, the police department, he was asking the police questions, and he said, no, we don't have anyone by this name. Because, during that whole period of time of him being talked to over the phone, they gave him numbers to call back. They gave him numbers in police officer's name, told him what city he was from. Again, gave him names of people that he knew, which spooked him out not to tell anyone about him removing the money from his account. And then when he got to the police station, the police officer said they had no one there by that name, and then put him on speaker with the person that he was talking to. And the person, kept up the ruse, and, eventually said, ha, I just scammed you, MFer. And so now my dad's lost money, and, what was him? The moral of that story is that when you are in duress and you're finding out things that possibly is too good to be true or too extreme, please contact your closest family member, someone that's very close and dear to you that you trust. Don't allow the scammers to win, because that day they won. And unfortunately for my dad, it set him back behind a lot in bills, but, thank God for family. So, with that being said, just beware of scams via text message, emails, phone calls, especially. When something seems too weird and out of the ordinary and they're asking you for your personal information, hang up the phone. Don't even talk to them. People calling you talking about you're going to be arrested, hang up the phone. Don't believe them, because if the police was really after you and they know where you are, they'll be at your door. So I'm going to end this in saying I hope this was helpful to someone. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And again, let me know what you think. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. Again, thank you. And Delia said, have a good day.